Most families don't plan to end up in crisis. It usually happens quietly, one small change at a time, until something forces a decision. And then suddenly you're making big choices under stress, fear, and time pressure. If you have ever thought, we should have talked about this earlier, this episode is for you. Welcome to Before You Have to Decide, the show about aging, housing, and family decisions before they become urgent. I am Stephanie Burrows. I work with families, I help them navigate major transitions, and I've seen the same pattern play out over and over. Nobody meant to wait too long. Life just stayed busy until it didn't. Today, we're talking about how families end up in crisis, why it happens even in loving families, and exactly how to avoid it. Now, this is without panicking, without forcing a move, and without turning dinner into a confrontation. Just a quick note for all of you. I'm not giving medical or legal advice. I'm sharing practical, real life planning steps that help families keep choices and control. All right. So, crisis rarely starts with a dramatic moment, it starts with a pattern. When people hear the word crisis, they picture something big, something dramatic. But most of the time, it's not dramatic, it's incremental. It kind of looks like this. Dad doesn't drive at night anymore. Mom stopped going to church because the steps are hard. The medication routine is getting confusing. There are more unopened mail piles. A little fall becomes a few falls. Just for now, help becomes daily help, and nobody admits how heavy it's gotten. Then one event happens, and it forces the timeline. Here are some examples of triggering events. And these are events that crisis usually starts with. It could be a fall, a hospitalization, a sudden cognitive change, a mobility change, or a caregiver burnout moment when someone says, I just can't do this anymore. Here's the part that matters. Families didn't fail. They waited for really understandable reasons. Waiting is human. The risk is waiting until options shrink. Now, most families will wait because of a few things, right? One of them being they don't want to upset mom or dad. They don't want to take independence away. Everyone is busy. Kids, careers, distance, grandkids, health issues. Nothing felt urgent yet. And honestly, because it's emotionally hard to say out loud, this season is changing. So let me say this clearly. Waiting does not mean that you didn't love them. Waiting usually means you were trying to respect them. But here's the one thing I want you to remember. The problem isn't waiting. The problem is waiting until choices become limited. What do limited choices mean? What do they look like? Well, when decisions become rushed, you're often choosing from what's available rather than what is best. You might find the only rehab bed that's open, the only caregiver who can start tomorrow, the only facility with a vacancy. A rushed home sale because bills are just piling up. Or a family argument because nobody agreed on roles or authority. So what does planning ahead actually mean? Because planning doesn't mean packing boxes tomorrow. Planning is about options. It's about not forcing action. Planning ahead does not mean moving tomorrow. It means you're going to take the time to understand the options that are available. Know and figuring out the triggers that would change the plan. And making decisions while you still have time, clarity, and leverage. Think of it like this. If you wait until the fire alarm is going off, you don't calmly read the emergency plan. You run. But if you look at the exits before you need them, you move with control. Planning is simply this: choosing the next right step while you still have choices. All right, let's talk about the early warning signs that families miss. The warning signs are usually functional, not medical. This is just a quick list. This is not an all-inclusive. These are just some early warning signs that families often explain away. That is until they are not explainable anymore. Falls or near falls. Even if it's no big deal, falls change confidence, mobility, and safety very quickly. Medication confusion. There might be missed doses, double doses, or I'm not even sure if I took it. Driving changes. Are there new dents? Are we avoiding highways, avoiding night driving, or are we getting lost in familiar areas? How about home maintenance? Home maintenance could be slipping. Yard, trash, repairs, expired food, things that used to be handled easily. Isolation. Oh, they stopped doing the things that keep them well. That includes meeting with friends, talking to friends, going to church, hobbies, and just everyday routines. Money and paperwork stress. This is a big one. Unopened mail. They have late payments. They're confused with their accounts. They just don't know what to do. Caregiver strain. If one person is doing everything, crisis is not an if, it is now a when. So what do you when you have that list and you don't want to make it an argument, but it needs to be a discussion that takes place now? A calm, staged plan will prevent urgent decisions. So have that conversation. Start that conversation without any pressure. Just talk. Start with the goal of understanding, not convincing. When you talk to your parents, try, I am not here to take anything away. I just want us to be prepared so we're not making decisions under pressure later. Now, take some time and identify 2 to 3 triggers that would change this plan. Some examples: another fall, a hospitalization, getting lost driving, medication mistakes, needing help bathing, or maneuvering stairs. Triggers keep the conversation objective. It becomes, if X happens, we do Y, rather than you can't live here or you can't drive. Now we take the time next to map some options while life is stable. Have 3 buckets available for them. Stay at home with support, home modifications might be necessary, caregiving, meal help. Okay, bucket number 2, downsize. Maybe a safer home, 1 level closer to family. Senior community, independent living, assisted living, memory care, etc. And this is all based on needs. So when we start the conversation, we explain we are not choosing today. We're just researching. That research is what's going to prevent panic. So now, who makes up your, quote, decision team? Who is the main point person? Who handles paperwork? Who handles medical communication? Who handles the finances? And who communicates with siblings? These are all important jobs and tasks that if you plan it out, it's going to be so much easier when the time comes. Most family blow-ups will come from unclear roles. Clarity will protect those relationships. So now how about this? Let's create a simple if this, then that plan. It would look something like this. If there's a fall, we are going to schedule a home safety assessment, driving check-in. How about that? If hospitalization occurs, discuss rehab, home support, and next step housing. If you're dealing with caregiver burnout, you might need a respite plan, staffing options. This is how you avoid crisis. You decide in advance what happens next. I've watched families go from everything is fine to, wow, we need a plan by Friday because of a fall plus one bad night. The difference between a smooth transition and a painful one is rarely love. It's almost always preparation. Here's what I want you to take from today. Crisis usually begins casually, quietly, until one event forces a timeline. Families don't wait because they don't care. They wait because it's hard. The real risk is waiting until options are limited. And planning ahead does not mean moving tomorrow. It means understanding choices while you still have them. Oh, thank you so much for sharing your time with me. On the next episode, we're going to be talking about how to start the conversation with mom or dad without it turning into a fight, including the exact phrases that reduce defensiveness. I want to thank you for listening to Before You Have to Decide. If this episode helped, share it with a sibling or a friend who's in this season too. And if you'd like more episodes like this, follow the show so you don't miss what's next.